Morning everyone, welcome to my at-home vlog. It's 7 o'clock, which means it's time for my first vat of coffee of the day. I'm kind of on weekend rules when it comes to coffee at the moment. I used to drink a hell of a lot of coffee and then started only letting myself have 2, but now that I'm at home all the time I do find that I'm kind of on weekend rules. But to be honest, I'm sleeping a hell of a lot better than I used to, because I don't have to get up and do a 2-hour commute anymore. So I kind of feel like I'm allowed a little bit of something at the moment. So I'm going to take this through to the living room. Where I'm joined by BBC Breakfast. So I work on The Brief with Megan, who's our fantastic The Daily Brief editor. And like Georgie mentioned in her vlog, I'm trying not to, consume loads of news and kind of bombard myself with everything, but I do like to wake up and watch BBC Breakfast and just catch up with what's going on, so that when Megan and I do our plan, I know absolutely everything at this moment in time that's going on. So I've been loving watching everyone else's vlogs, not least because it's lovely to see everyone's faces, but also because I've loved perving on everyone's amazing houses. Unfortunately, this vlog probably isn't going to live up to the same standards, because as you can see from these lovely cards from my friends and family, I actually ended up moving house 6 weeks ago. So at the moment, it's not exactly as we'd like it eventually. Haven't got that much furniture and it's all pretty sparse, but to be honest, I'm absolutely thrilled to be in a new flat, because my other one was absolutely tiny and didn't have things like a washing machine or any sort of storage. So yeah, I'm absolutely loving having moved. So this bit here is my working from home setup. The laptop's over there at the moment, while my boyfriend works upstairs on the desk, which has actually been quite nice having 2 separate rooms to work in, so we can just really get on with things. So that's basically where I'll be spending most of my time today. So before I go for my shower, I'm just going to show you my one sort of lockdown purchase. So I've wanted a silk dressing gown for ages, and yeah, Alexa Chung had a 50% off all sleepwear sale, which I kind of was umming and ahhing over for about a week, but eventually just went for it. And I'm so glad I did, because I absolutely love it and feel like I'm living a sort of 70s dream. And well, as it's a dressing gown, I've been wearing it every day, so I'm absolutely chuffed with it. So welcome to my very 90s vanity cabinet, is that what you call them? So like everyone else, I'm just going to quickly go through my skincare routine. Similarly to Laura, this is not sponsored by Elemis, but the founder of Elemis came in when I was really new at Sheer Luxe, when we were doing the first sets of Sheer Luxe shows, and I'd heard of it before as being a sort of spa product, but I'd never ever used it myself. And yeah, she came in and did some demos, and I managed to take one of these cleansing balms with me, and I've basically never looked back since. It's definitely, for me, the best brand I've ever used. It works really well on my skin. I've got quite sensitive skin. I've been using this Garden of Wisdom toner recently, but I know everyone raves about it, but for me, my skin just goes bright red after I've used it. So I've gone back to using my Origins. I hate mushrooms taste-wise, but this mega mushroom stuff always really works really well for my skin. So yeah, sorry Garden of Wisdom, I've gone back to that. This amazing superfood facial oil, which just does wonders for my skin, and then I follow it up always with an SPF, and in this case, the Elemis Marine Cream, which is expensive, but it lasts absolutely ages and makes my skin feel a hell of a lot better than anything else I've ever used. So for me, it's worth it. And then otherwise, I'm using this Wood Sage and Sea Salt one at the moment from Jo Malone, which I absolutely love. And yeah, my trusty Glossier makeup remover, the Milky cleanser, which I think is awesome. That's it from me for my bathroom. I'm about to start work in about half an hour, so I thought it was time, for the first time since I think the 17th of March, to put some makeup on. So first of all, I've got this concealer. So it's Revolution Conceal and Define, which is a cheap and cheerful one you can get from Boots. And I think it's about £3, and for me, it just gives the right amount of coverage. Next, I've got this MAC Studio Face and Body Foundation. They just cater for pale skin really well. I'm quite pasty, I don't wear bronzer, and yeah, I quite like my freckles these days as well. So I quite like this. It's quite light, you can put it on and it just gives you a little bit of coverage. Or you can layer it up if you're going on a night out and fancy something a bit thicker. But yeah, for me, MAC just do lots of things that kind of work in my colour range, so I'm a big fan. After that, I've started using Glossier Future Dew Oil Serum Hybrid. You can mix it in with your foundation or put it on beforehand, but I just tend to put a little bit on afterwards and it just gives you a nice glow. And then next I've got Guerlain Pearls. They're called Meteorites, and basically I remember them from the 90s because my mum had them and she also bought them for both of my grandmas back in the day, and I remember just being obsessed with them when I was little. They last for ages, and I tend to pop on. It's just a kind of nice pearlescent sort of setting powder, I suppose, that I put all over my face once I've dealt with my foundation. And then, yeah, similarly to Lou, I've been using this Dandelion for, yeah, probably, I don't know, when did Benefit launch? Probably when I was about 14 or something. It just does the job for me. It isn't a bronzer, obviously, this one. It's more of a pinky blush, but it lasts absolutely ages and works quite well on pale skin. These days, also, like Charlotte, adding a tiny bit of this Cloud Paint, which is in Puff, which is just a really nice pink colour, which I really, really like, and it gives it that nice, you know, creamy look rather than a matte look, which is what the Dandelion gives. And I'm also, sorry, it's not sponsored by Glossier, I just really like a lot of their products on my skin. So this is their Halo Scope, which is just a highlighter stick, which I just put on my cheeks and my just below my eyebrows. Then from there, I use Glossier again. I think everyone uses this now these days, don't they? Boy Brow for my eyebrows, just to give it a little bit of colour. Then my trusty liquid eyeliner. I usually love the Collection 2000 one. It's £2.99 and it's the best liquid eyeliner I've ever used. But at the moment, I've got this Elizabeth Arden one, which Georgie gave me to try, which I actually really, really rate. I don't have any sort of brand loyalty when it comes to mascara, but I do really like this Bad Girl Bang, again by Benefit, because it is really liquidy and really black. So it just gives it a nice bit of colour without too much sort of clumping, which is great. And then finally, I always wear a nice bright lipstick and haven't done again for a while, but I really, really rate these ones by Kiko Milano. I think they're like £3 or £4 depending on which ones you get, and I just think the coverage is absolutely amazing on them. This is a sort of a nice pinky red colour, so yeah, I'm looking forward to putting that on and cheering up my day with a nice pop of colour. So it's 9 AM, so I'm about to start work for the day. First of all, I'm just going to take a really quick final look at the feature that I've got running today. The 6 new books you need to read this month. I've already checked it, but I'm just going to give it another quick look and just make sure that all the links are working and that all the formatting is correct, just in case any changes have been made since I last looked at it. So next for me is sorting out my to-do list. So it's a bit of a busy one today because it's a bank holiday on Friday and I'm off on Thursday as well because it should have been my friend Kate's hen do. So I've got quite a few things to do before I'm back on Monday. So first of all, I've got some subbing to do, and then I've got 3 features to write. One of them is on new films that should have been coming out at the cinema but are being streamed online instead. Then I've got a feature on how to make ice cream at home. I've spoken to quite a few professional chefs and cooks on how you can do that and make sorbets as well. My third piece I've got to write today is My Life in Food, which is a interview with Jason Atherton, and that one is going to be for SL Man because I write 1 feature a week for them, which I really enjoy doing. And I've also got some interview questions to pull together for Alexandra Schulman, which it's really cool. We've managed to get some interview time with her. So yeah, this book that she's written, it's a memoir, it's just come out and it's a really, really good read. It's, you know, a memoir, it's about her, but obviously because she's the former editor of Vogue, it's got all sorts in about clothes and it's just really, really well written and I learned a lot about her. So yeah, I'm gonna email Georgie and the fashion team as well today to see if there are any burning questions they've got for her, but I'm gonna pull together some questions based on what I read over the weekend as well. So that's really cool, really excited about that. Finally, I've got the brief. So I subbed the brief in 3 different stages. So yeah, we'll be working on that later today. Hello again. So I just thought I'd talk you through what I'm wearing today. So first of all, I haven't really got any loungewear, and I've never really been a loungewear kind of person. Like Lou, I just tend to wear sort of t-shirts and band shirts for bed. So I haven't really been, naturally wearing pyjamas around the house. I've just been wearing the dresses I would normally wear, which I find makes me a little bit more productive. But I thought, as today's a special occasion, I'd wear this Ganni dress that I bought with a voucher a little while ago. I was planning on wearing it for a number of summer weddings I was meant to be going to, but obviously they're not going to happen anymore, so I've decided to wear it today instead. So yeah, it's new season Ganni, and it's essentially loads of cabbages is what my boyfriend said they look like. I think it's roses, but maybe with a sort of a greenish tint, and I know it's bloody massive, but that's what I like. And it's got pockets as well. And then I'm pairing the look with a pair of ginormous fluffy sheepskin slippers, which were in a roundup of the best slippers to buy now that we did on Sheer Luck. So I was inspired by that. They're House of Brewer, which is a Scottish sort of outdoor wear brand, I think. But yeah, lockdown so far is basically me finally allowing myself to buy a dressing gown and some slippers, and yeah, wear a big baggy dress, because why not? So I thought I'd use the opportunity where the mirror is to show you the one room we have actually managed to paint. So it's taken us 5 weekends because we've painted every single thing. We basically painted it in a colour called Prosthetic Limb, which comes from a paint shop in Lewes, near where I am in Brighton, called March and Son. And it's this amazing guy who just makes all his own paints with wacky names. So yeah, this one is Prosthetic Limb, which is named after the sort of pinky, purpley colour that prosthetic legs and arms used to be back in the day. But no, I find it nice, calm and relaxing up here, but I'll be mostly happy when we've actually got a bed, because we ordered one about 8 or 9 weeks ago and it still hasn't shown up, and there's absolutely no sign of it. But thankfully, I have got a mattress, so we have got somewhere to sleep. And yeah, it's a nice bright space to wake up to in the morning. And here's another example of just a little bit of the decorating that we're doing at the moment, or just paint at this stage. We keep being very ambitious, I think, by accident with what we want to do each weekend. So we started this last weekend, and as has become something of a pattern, I'd hoped that we'd get the whole room done in one weekend, but I always forget how long it takes to do all the painting and filling and sanding, etc. So yeah, we've only done the ceiling and a little bit of the wall, but hopefully this bank holiday weekend we'll manage to get it all done. I basically spend the whole of my day listening to Six Music, which is exactly what I'm doing now, and they've just started playing NASCAR Lime's Pure Luxury, which is my favourite song at the moment, so I'm going to turn it up and carry on working. It's lunchtime, so I am going to make one of my favourites from, yes, The Office favourite. It's one of my favourite cookbooks, Jamie Oliver, 5 Ingredients. I think I've got loads of really nice cookbooks that I love, but this is 100% the one I use constantly. And, especially in lockdown when you can't get as many things as you'd like, it's quite good to have a cookbook such as this, where you only need 5 ingredients and you can make a delicious and rather healthy lunch. So my yoghurt, black olive and red wine vinegar dressing has been made. I've boiled the eggs, just got to peel those. The green beans are on and the salmon is in the pan. So the salmon's come out well. I've dressed the beans in the yoghurt dip, and the eggs have come out just as I wanted them to. So all that's left to do now is just to put a little bit more of the yoghurt and olives on, and a couple more olives, and we're done. Lunch. So one of the best things about living in Brighton, especially at the moment, is the beach, which I'm just out for my socially distanced walk of the day. The sun's suddenly come out, which is great, although it's still a little bit chilly. There it is. It's just very, very quiet today as well, which is great, because there's been a few weekends where I've almost avoided the beach because it's just been absolutely heaving with sunbathers, although they do like to send the police round to kind of, you know, tell people off, especially, I did mention on the podcast already, but there's a nudist beach which I shan't walk on now. But yeah, they're still getting things out and sunbathing, so yeah, the police telling them off is rather amusing. But anyway, here it is. So relaxing. At the moment, right outside my favourite pub, because they've just started doing takeaway beers. So we've come and we're going to grab some to have later on today. It's not all coffee round here, despite what my intro might have seemed like. So for a 4 p.m. pick-me-up, I am going to have some oolong tea from Jing, which is this really awesome tea company who also make really nice teaware, such as this. So I'm just going to add, it's a tablespoon of the tea, which you can use, you can re-infuse it a couple of times as well, so it's not a waste. Fill it up. Sorry, slightly steamy there. Pop the lid on and set the timer for 3 minutes. So that's all done and nicely infused. And I'm going to have my one with a gold bar, which has basically become my sort of lockdown treat. So it's 6:15 and Megan has just sent me the final email test for what's going to go in tomorrow's email, which we send at 7:15 every morning. So Megan spends the whole day working on the brief that will go the next morning, and then has to get up really early every morning to check all the news and make sure that everything we've got in the daily email is completely up to date. So this is the email that's going to go tomorrow morning. Basically what I'll do now is go through all of this with a fine-tooth comb and just check for any potential typos, make sure the links work, and just make sure that everything looks as it should do for the send tomorrow morning. And then once I've done that, I'll send a test to Georgie. So that's what I'm going to do for the next 45 minutes. Right, so that's me done for work for the day. I've somehow managed to write all 3 of my features, do the brief, call in my photos, and do some interview questions. So I think it's time for a drink. So it's that time of the evening, and my very kind boyfriend Tobias is making us Negronis. So we're starting off with 50 ml of Plymouth gin, which is a really good base for cocktails. Like Georgie, we've got some Roku gin at the moment, but we're saving that one for pure G&Ts. This Plymouth seems to do the job for Negronis. And I believe it's 25 ml of Campari. We've also bought one of those sort of big silicone ice cube trays, which has been a game changer when it comes to gin and tonics. And then we've also got 25 ml of Cinzano going in too. I know Stanley Tucci just did his video, but I promise we were making these before. And then for a final flourish, just need a nice peeling of orange. Give it a final stir and cool it down with that nice big ice cube. And that's it. Stanley Tucci, eat your heart out. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to spend the rest of my evening preparing some pub quiz questions for a quiz I've got on Friday with some of my favourites. And I'm also thinking about restarting my Instagram account, which is quite a scary proposition because it's something I stopped doing about 2.5 years ago. So I'm going to have a look at some of the stuff I did a few years ago and see if it's worth reviving or not. I believe next week it's Tor's vlog, so I'm really looking forward to watching that. But for now, thank you very much for watching a day in the life of me at home, and hopefully see you all soon. Bye bye.